If you had to ask me, I couldn't tell you what was wrong with me. I couldn't tell you what was going through my mind. I couldn't tell you what was processing. I don't know. I couldn't tell you none of that. But I could tell you what happened. I could tell you what I remember from what happened, and then what I was told by the elders around me. A little backstory before I get ready to go pick up my daughter. So let me tell you what happened. Okay. So to start, I wanna say, about how old was I? I wanna say I was about 6 years old, maybe 6, 7 years old. I was in first grade, I believe, first or second grade. And I was going to a school called Crocker Elementary School. It was a K through 12. It was like right around the corner from the house where I was staying at in New Orleans. And it was so close to the house, like you could walk, we could walk from home to school. I don't know, I have a lot of memories around that time from when I was going to school and just being there with my sister. So what I can remember is going in my uncle's bag and taking out the knife, which was a box cutter, but to me, I guess I registered it as a knife. I didn't know what the fuck a box cutter was, a pocket knife. I didn't understand the difference, but it was a box cutter. I just remember taking it out of his backpack, I believe that morning before I left to school. It was in the hallway on the first floor in the dining room. Boho falling out, boho alert. So yeah, I remember taking the knife. I don't remember where I put it. I don't know if I put it in my backpack. I don't know. I just remember taking the knife out of his backpack before I had left to school that morning. And then I get to school and everybody would have to sit in the courtyard in lines and line up and, you know, get ready for the day. If you remember how elementary school was. And my sister came to me and she was like, Trelly, this boy messing with me. I remember getting my knife out of my backpack, which was a clear backpack. And going up to the boy and told him if he messed with my sister, I'm gonna cut him. The boy ran away and, you know, I thought I did my big one. I was like, okay, period. He shouldn't be messing with you no more, sis. She was a year younger than me. So apparently I was like really overprotective of my sister around this time. It was like a love-hate relationship, still is. And I thought that was it, that was done. And next thing you know, some teachers, principal, they come and get me from the line. And that's when stuff starts going blank for me. Then next thing I remember, I was sitting in this tiny old school office, and I don't know, I don't remember like being scared. I didn't understand the gist of what I did. I didn't know how badly I was in trouble. I remember seeing a police officer, and then that's the last thing I remember from being in school. So then I remember when I got home, this is insane. I remember when I got home, I got a whooping with my behind. And then they put me on my knees on some carpet runners. If you know what carpet runners are, I was on my knees on some gosh darn carpet runners. I just remember people talking about it in the house. Like, yeah, people were just talking about it in the house. But hold on, I gotta transition from the house to the car. Raise some windows down because it's kind of humid and moist in my car. So back to what I was saying. So what I was told, oh, the weather, it's gonna rain. What I was told by like family members and everybody around me, they had to come to the school, they had to talk to the cops. They didn't have to talk to the kids' parents. You know, I guess back then it wasn't that serious, you know, where parents get charged for what their kids is doing and not supposed to be doing and shit. So And then I was told how many times I was disciplined. I was told who disciplined me, how long I was suspended. And I'll say that just puts a cap on that little story time. But things like that, of the things that I did growing up, because I also remember the time where I stabbed a kid with a pencil. Like, and that it's a very, very short story time. This chubby Hispanic kid was making fun of me, calling me Oscar the Grouch. And of course, I know who Oscar the Grouch is. It's the green guy that lives in the trash can. And this was in TJ Rusk. I went to 3 different middle schools. Different middle school every year. Is this a new road? Cool. Oh shit, somebody fucked it up. Oh wow. That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, he was calling me Oscar the Grouch, and then he proceeded to start, like, then, I don't know, I guess I got heated, and I didn't know how to use my words back then. So I took a pencil and I jabbed his hand. I was about to say the lie that I told, you know, the teachers and the principal and, you know, even my parents, which was I was playing with the pencil and like this, jabbing it, and his hand got in the way. But no, he was calling me Oscar the Grouch, and I took a pencil and I stabbed his hand. The fuck? Boom, figured out which tire needed the air, executed it perfectly. It will usually take me forever in a fucking mosquito, forever and a day to try and figure out. Okay, I need to put shades on because I keep thinking I could thug it out without any shades. I just can't do that. Rainy weather was gonna take my baby to the park, but I guess not. So indoor park it is. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought that. I don't think that I was even thinking. All I knew is I was upset. Like, my feelings was hurt. I wouldn't say that I was a violent child. I wasn't violent. I was picked on. Would I call myself a violent child? I don't know. I have to reevaluate that one. If I had to compare, no, I wouldn't call myself a violent child. But I definitely wasn't the sweetest child. My mom even recently told me that I was always an angry child. I was always a very mean, angry child. I was also told I had a lot of the same similar traits as my daughter, but autism wasn't the same around back then. So I feel like I you know, till this day am struggling with undiagnosed behavioral disorders, but I have learned how to manage that without feeling like any type of serious anger or aggression, because back then that was just like the way to go for everything. I just had to get my hands on somebody. I had to make sure, you know, people heard how I felt. Not what I said, but how I felt, because what you say don't mean nothing, but what you do sometimes, I felt like that meant everything. And then I grew up. I want to say those was the 2 worst incidents that I've ever had when it came to being in school. But in general, I've done a lot of bad things in the short period of time that I lived in my hometown. And I felt like if I would have grown up out there, I wouldn't have been a good kid. I wouldn't have been a good kid. I remember getting out of school one day and telling my little sister, like, I don't want to go to daycare. Mind you, I'm in like the 2nd grade. And after we get out of school, we're supposed to wait. We were supposed to wait at a part of the school for Miss English, the daycare lady, to pick us up. I did not want to wait. That day, I didn't want to wait. And it wasn't that I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to go to daycare. So I told her, let's just go home. Like, let's just walk home from school. And then we went, and I remember being home and playing with my toys. And then I remember hearing my mom and the lady talking on the front porch. And I was just like, so I had got a whooping for that, and I was in trouble for that, of course. But overall, I'm pretty sure it was the environment that I lived in, the kind of people that I that was raising me. Because again, I don't know how I knew my uncle even had. I don't even know how I knew my uncle even had a box cutter in his bag. I don't remember that train of thought. I don't remember where I hid it. I don't remember initially why I even took it in the first place. And amongst a lot of other things, I do remember how schooling was in New Orleans, and they were not it was not a good school system. Like in Texas, you have to like take a test to pass each grade. Well, not only did I start school late, because school starts in August, my birthday was in September, I was kept behind in 5th grade. So I graduated technically 2 classes behind. Like when I posted my birthday, I noticed it was class of 2014 that was like, I didn't realize you were the same age as me. And me in 2016 trying to figure out why I don't have any friends my age, or why is people wanted to surround themselves around me. It was because I was older naturally. Wasn't smarter. Everybody wanted to copy off of me, but naturally I was older. I had that vibe to come around. It was just not a good school system, and based off the little things that I can remember, will forever be grateful that I was not raised and taught in New Orleans. The education system is poo-poo. Definitely not good in Texas either, I'll tell you that much. From being in DISD to HISD, they're not good. The whole system is trash, I'll tell you that. I'll definitely get back to y'all with some more school story times, but that right there, that was pretty much my upbringing in New Orleans, and it wasn't a good one. And it just started to flow on when I moved to Texas, because, ow, my hand. It just started to, I think it's just who I am. I don't know, I don't know. It's crazy how much you can remember from such a big situation, though. People say, like, you kind of forget stuff due to, oh, crap. I never seen a sheriff sit right there before. Yeah, people say you kind of forget stuff due to trauma, things that happen throughout life, and I wholeheartedly believe that, because the whole reason we had to leave New Orleans itself during Katrina, and I'll do a completely separate story time on that, but I'll give y'all more story times whenever I give y'all more story times. Sometimes I'll get lazy with my editing, but I'm starting to remember to record more, okay? I'm getting back to it. Give me some time. Y'all gave me a grace period. Ooh, that was illegal, sir. Okay. And probably go to one of my next suggested videos, because I give y'all something else to do. Okay.